G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in, over on the east side of the map, we've got GG.Chrisaor, who we're just going to be calling Chris, because it's probably a little bit easier to say than Chrisaor, because I'll probably get that wrong more than once in this game. He'll be opening us up with just a whole bunch of villagers, also going to be going for a lumber camp, and out onto the gold mine straight away. And I gotta say, I already love this opening from him. Such a smart move, sending out the two villagers at the same time to build two different buildings. A lot of people actually sending out three villagers, rather. A lot of people will just send a whole bunch of villagers out here and try and get that gold mine up and running ASAP. But ideally, you want to avoid stacking those guys up. Over on the other side of the map, spawning in on the west side, we have the one, the only, playing the Abbasid dynasty. It is the Viper, and he is looking incredibly strong so far. We have seen plenty of games from him today, and we are continuing to see many more. He is one. A lot of the games, obviously, we've casted a fair few games going up against Leenock. Now we're going to take a look at some more games. Now, keep in mind, Viper at the moment preparing for N4C. If you're unfamiliar with N4C, that is the $100,000 tournament that is going to be hosted up by Nilly, sponsored by Microsoft, and it is going to be live in Berlin. We are going to be doing it live on the ground, so make sure you tune in. I'm going to leave links in the description to where you can find out all that juicy information and watch Viper, watch all those big names play out live. We've got plenty of guys for you. We've got Leenock, we got Marine Lord, we got Beastie QT, all your favorites from the top of the ladder. They're going to be looking to fight it out. Obviously, Vortex, Lucifron, those big bad boys in there, and definitely a few more that I've missed. But with me, there's going to be Grubby casting. We're going to have Nilly casting. Dave's going to be casting as well. So we have got an absolutely star-studded lineup for you guys. But speaking of star-studded, Viper going to be looking to go for some sort of early mill play here, already opening up with the mining camp and a lumber camp as well. Now, keep in mind, he's playing as the Abbasid dynasty. He's going to need to be dropping down his House of Wisdom at some point here. You can see he's managed to get up to the required resources at this point in time. So let's see if he does go for that. House of Wisdom here. Still not placed down at this point in time. Viper a little bit behind the curve. There we go. Now, looks like the House of Wisdom is going to get placed down. Going to be pulling a few villagers for this as well. It looks like just going with the two. Back on the other side of the map, though, we'll check in with how Chris is doing. Chris going to be going for an early wheelbarrow. Not the first time we've seen this today. Definitely won't be the last. This early wheelbarrow build is incredibly strong. Now, keep in mind, guys, by the time that you guys watch this, N4C is going to be well and truly underway. So make sure you check that out. I'm going to leave a link in the description. But I'll be over in Germany when this video goes live on YouTube. So g'day to you guys. Or how do the Germans say hello? I don't even know. You know, I probably know. I just can't think of it. Like, okay, I'm going to go through my French. Bonjour. They also have like bonsoir. Germans. All I'm thinking of is like, das ist mein Hamburger. That's pretty much it. I think it's Hello? Hello? I'm going back to the Age of Empires 3 villages. Yeah. And then they've got like some real crazy lines. For the motherland! No, I think that's English. I think that's English. Oh god. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to brush up on my German while I'm on the plane over. But speaking of brushing up, Chris, gotta be careful right now. Might potentially lose this scout. Fortunately, no villagers near the town center whatsoever. Only 3 sheep, and unfortunately, you can't garrison those. So the scout manages to get away, and Viper let it live another day. Now, speaking of living another day, economic win going to be coming up for the Viper. He's going to be looking to drop down a house and try and get through to that golden age. We can see at the moment he's sitting at 5 out of 10. That's going to be adding in his 6th building right there. Now, I think all of these might be connected. You can tell by the little plus signs in here. So he's got everything connected to his network so far. So just probably going to be working on a couple more houses. We'll have to wait. We'll have to see how he does it, though. Back over towards Chris's base. He is slowly working towards this council hall. Just tapping away with it with 4 villagers. Tapping away at it, rather. And a lot of villagers on food at this point in time. 10 villagers on food. So I'm curious what we're going to be seeing out of Chris. Now, keep in mind, these guys are both pretty high ranked. You got Viper at the moment sitting at rank number 60. Chris sitting at rank 141. Obviously, rank, it's one of those things, you know, lesser players will tell you rank doesn't matter. More, you know, the better players will tell you rank is everything. Pixel points are everything. So you don't listen to those people that don't say rank doesn't matter. But let's be honest, rank doesn't really matter. Viper obviously not a rank 60 player. He's definitely one of those, you know, top 3 guys. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to bring out today. He's obviously up to the next age now. Going to be dropping down a stable now, going up against I was going to say the Holy Roman Empire, the English. He's obviously wanting to go for that stable first because he already knows that his enemy is going for a double archery range. That's what we see here in the council hall. Blacksmith going to be coming up here as well. Could be looking for that +1 nice and early. We can see that he's already working on that fresh food stuff. So I love this build order, this opening already we're seeing from Viper. No early wheelbarrow. This is something that Don Artie sort of made. It sort of has been doing a fair bit of going for that early wheelbarrow. Definitely helps out with your berry carrying, because you can see every time you're making a trip like this, like you count the seconds, all right? Next guy that walks back. Let's watch him. Here comes. Here comes. He's going to walk. He's going to walk. Let's count how long it takes him. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 seconds. It takes 4 seconds to go back there. So if you can reduce the amount of time that you're walking, you're going to increase the amount of time that you're gathering. And that's a very smart move. But speaking of smart moves, it looks like Chris already going to be adding in some farms for himself, obviously taking the berries, but also looking to begin diversifying. Barrack's going to be coming down here as well. I'm curious to see what direction he goes and whether he looks to be heading towards men-at-arms like his macro suggests, and indeed it is the case. Now he's going to be spotting out the stable coming out from Viper here. He should also be spotting out the horseman that is beginning to run across the map, and that's not the first one. It's going to be the second one that is coming out here. Viper, plenty of sheep carrying or being followed behind that scout. But now, speaking of scouts, it looks like the one in the middle going to be picked up here. If he's not careful, going to lose that sheep as well. That sheep with 12 health on it. So going to be able to survive 2 stabs of the horseman. Now, Viper probably going to be looking towards the +1 range upgrade. Indeed, he is Iron Undermesh about to come in now before 6 minutes, or rather before 6:30. So this is kind of the new tech, and I think this is pretty smart, rushing this. Like, this is a pretty insane build order when you think about it. Obviously, Viper playing the Abbasid dynasty here. Typically, when you're playing as the Abbasid dynasty, you've got one victory condition, and that is make a second town center and try and get more villagers than your opponent. But Viper playing a little bit of an interesting playstyle here, adding in that +1 so early into the game, because when you take a look at Chris, obviously he is nowhere near that, and as a result, it means it's going to take time for him to actually get to that level. But now Chris down towards this position over on the east side of the map. He's going to be looking incredibly well as he continues to add in more and more farms. A little bit of a raid coming up towards this northern side as well. And look at that. You see that little horseman just wigging out? He's going to get some stabs in here. I suspect he's probably not going to lose this villager. It'd be absolutely ludicrous if he lost that villager to a horseman. In 2022, it just doesn't happen anymore. But Strelbor is now beginning to move up towards that northern position. Down towards the base of Viper, though, he is adding in more military production, so it looks like double stable going to be coming out for him. Could be going into the camel archer. Could be looking to go for a crossbow, because you can see that his resources definitely indicate to me that he's thinking about going to the 3rd age. We may be seeing a new potential strategy that is coming out right now, and we are exposing it live. This is Viper's Abbasid Dynasty Fast Castle, and it's looking pretty decent so far. I love the way that he goes for the +1 as well on the horseman. It really makes a lot of sense. He's going to help out so much throughout the game against the English, just having that extra 1 armor. But yeah, very close to aging up now. So going to be looking to go up. I'm suspecting he's going to go with the military wing. Goes with the culture wing. You know, he goes with the culture wing. It's I think I always say that. I'm like, oh, here we go. We're probably going to see the military wing come out. Oh, it's the culture wing again. All right, he doesn't. Men-at-arms pushing forward now. Now, these guys are early men-at-arms. Keep that in mind. Not as much armor as their castle age counterparts, but a little bit of a push now going to be coming out from Chris. Now, behind this, keep in mind, Viper's actually got the double archery range, also got a barracks, also got a stable. So he's going to be able to train crossbows. He's going to be able to get lances. He's going to be able to get those men-at-arms out, and he's really going to be able to deal very effectively with this push that is coming in from Chris. Because to be honest, there's really not a lot of damage that has come out early. Chris was a little bit slow off the blocks. If we were to think about, you know, an Olympic swimming race, you're talking about, say, a 100 meters or a 200-meter race. Chris has kind of stumbled a little bit, fumbled a bit even. Maybe even fallen over because, you know, somehow you've fallen over in the water. Speaking of falling over, though, Viper manages to lose a villager. But he's managing to make his way back into the game. I definitely feel like it. But reinforcements getting picked up in the middle of the map. Viper doing a good job with that. You can see just how much damage these guys are able to soak up. Barely taking a quarter of his life's health. Or quarter of his health's life? Quarter of his health. But does so much damage over towards those horsemen. So a difficult spot now for Viper. And Chris going to be continuing to tee off towards these villagers. The second villager going to be going down. Looks like the third one going to be trying its best to escape. Now, keep in mind, these bad boys do have their textiles upgrade, but they do go down. So 3 villagers being lost now for Viper. Now, one thing to note, a lot of people will be looking at Viper and be saying, oh, Viper's fine because he's got the economic wing. Remember, the economic wing, it's not going to be buffing up your economy. It's just giving you extra resources that you can spend elsewhere, because it doesn't increase the speed that you train villagers, it just decreases the cost. So it's not really an economic buff. In my opinion, it's more of a military buff because it enables you to spend those resources elsewhere, and typically you're going to be spending them on military. But here we can see Viper has decided to spend them towards that castle age. Now, obviously, up to the next stage, we're probably going to be seeing some lances out, maybe some men-at-arms coming out, and indeed we do see those men-at-arms beginning to come out. A lot of mass now beginning to build. Do we potentially see a +2 coming out for Viper as well for that range defense? I really wouldn't be surprised. Viper somewhat put in the corner now. No battering ram coming out at this stage. No lancers still coming out for Viper. He's got a lot of resources in the bank and really not using them. Do we have crossbows coming out? We do indeed have crossbows coming out, so you can see he's building up quite an infantry mass, obviously playing the Abbasid dynasty. He wants to make sure that he's got plenty of infantry out because he's got to have access to the ability to build battering rams, siege towers, mangonels, springalds on the front line, and now you can see just how much damage is soaking up here. Only 2 damage coming out per shot. Chris now reaching population capacity as well, getting population blocked. More men-at-arms going to be coming out to meet his opponent, and at the same time, the crossbows here from Viper are going to be very, very potent. But yeah, this Abbasid fast castle build, very, very swish. I do like it. And indeed, we have wedge rivets coming in already. So Viper playing a very nice build order here. I got to be honest with you guys. I'm loving the way that it's looking at the moment. Very, very solid. And just overall, a really sound game plan. So typically against your English players, you're going to be dealing with longbows. You're going to be dealing with significant amounts of longbows. And so to get that +2 nice and early, it means that you're just taking lots of less damage, a lot less damage throughout the game. So smart moves from him. Mangonel now going to be coming down from Viper as well. Very, very smart moves. This is just so safe as well, isn't it? There's no real counter to this. I don't think that Chris can do. He's going to try and pick off a couple of these. Mangonel now going to be completed. Turns its attention towards the men-at-arms, getting off a beautiful shot there. You can see a lot of the health on those bad boys being absolutely just destroyed. Viper now pushing out towards his gold mine. He's going to be no longer idled on that. At the same time, a couple villagers back here, but you can see he's really not that focused on collecting food. His primary concern right now is getting in that wood, getting in that gold. Going to be looking to get out more mangonels, I do suspect. And now we see the men-at-arms beginning to move forward. These guys are going to have their +2. Rather, they do have their +2 already. Wedge rivets has indeed come in. This is such a smart build order coming out from Viper. And now behind this, Chris probably thinking about going up to the castle age himself. The issue is he's not going to have a window. We see, once again, these men-at-arms looking to charge out. They got a very fast charge on them. Men-at-arms just absolutely insane amounts of damage, and just look at that, barely even take any damage themselves. It is wild. 1 damage a tick right there. What is it that Chris can even do in this position? Like, Viper's just going to push back. Horticulture actually coming in for Chris, and this is a pretty smart move. But the big thing is trying to get up to the castle age himself, because otherwise he's just going to be in such a difficult spot. There's really not a lot he can do if he stays in the second age. The men-at-arms just going to be so strong, overwhelming him completely. You can see not only the attack difference, not only the armor difference, but also the health difference there. And the big issue is going to be that mangonel. So Viper really playing it incredibly smart. Such a great build, and I gotta say, I really think the key to this build order is that +2, at least up in this matchup. Now, if you're playing in a different matchup, let's say if you were playing against a Holy Roman Empire player, you might look to get fitted leatherwork instead and look to go into +2 melee armor. Just simply because you're probably going to be going up against lance connects, probably a lot of spears, probably a lot of men-at-arms coming out for them, and so as a result, you would try and switch around the armor because you know, in this situation, the English player is going to be making longbows. It's a matter of fact. There's no 2 ways about it, and we now see him dropping down that campfire ability, going to be looking to get that healing in, and slowly but steadily he'll be healing up each of his longbows. You can see that they're taking quite a while to get through, probably another minute before they're full health, but he's got to be so careful now. Mangonel's looking to try and get in here. He spots out the villagers. He's got to be unpacking. Now, keep in mind, if he hits this mill right in the middle, what he needs to do, he just targets this mill. All of the AoE damage is going to come out, and you'll see him do that right now. And all of the AoE damage lands on the farms here. So one more shot, and all of these farms are going to be going down. Such mogul moves coming out from Viper. There you go. So that's 37 wood a pop right there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 farms immediately killed. So really nice playing there from Viper. So a lot of damage getting put out. Now keep in mind, Chris obviously trying to diversify his food economy. He's got villagers up towards this deer patch. He could get caught out if he's not careful. We now see the archers beginning to move, and they do spot out the villagers. Very, very unfortunate for Chris. Now the mangonel's going to be moving up in this position as well. I think this might be a complete cleanup. Now he's going to run away these villagers, and it's going to take some time before they actually do die. But in the meantime, Viper's going to be able to try and abuse his enemy and at least and put on a bit of damage. But now Chris going up We'll check and see what the landmark was that he opted with. Does go for the King's Palace, so no real surprise there. The other option was obviously the White Tower, and one of the things that you can do with the White Tower is you can actually look to get out your Springald immediately, but it doesn't look like Chris is going to be doing that. Instead, just going to be going straight into double siege workshop. I got no idea how he's going to be able to support that, but against the Abbasid, it makes a lot of sense to be doing it, just because they're going to be able to have so many siege units out on the field at once. Now Viper just hanging out, just minding his own business. Got a couple of crossbows, couple of mangonels, couple of archers. Now, if Chris was actually doing a bit of a swing around, it would be a different story. And what I mean by a swing around, I mean a tech change. Imagine if he had horsemen now. Horsemen up here would just absolutely shred this completely. But speaking of shredded, looks like Viper defending a little bit of an attack up towards his own base. So down towards the western side, we do see more men-at-arms. Only early men-at-arms. We'll have to see if there's any upgrades coming through. Doesn't look like it just yet. Keep in mind, armor-clad always going to be there. We do see a switch. There's a lot of infrastructure. I've got to be honest, Chris is doing a great job with the infrastructure. He's got 9, technically 10 buildings for infrastructure because the council hall will count as 2. But now Viper looking to try and put on a bit of damage. He's searching, he's spotting out for those villagers. Doesn't really find too much. Obviously knows about the King's Palace on the front line. And probably going to be looking to posture towards that position. But it definitely seems like a bit of an underwhelming push coming through from Viper at this point. Looks like a second barracks going to get dropped down back behind this. And Viper also dropping a second town center. So my apologies for missing this one. Identifying his win condition is not only getting to the castle age, but also going to be securing up that economy behind this. So adds in the second town center. Could be looking to add in a third town center as well. He's got the resources. He's actually got the resources to almost add in a fourth town center as well if he wished to do so. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it from the big man. He is known for his greediness and has really put on a lot of hurt in the early game here. Indeed, going to be going down for a third town center. Let's see if Viper does it, because this is an absolutely nutty build. 15 more stone and he'll be able to get that fourth town center. Will he dare do it? Don't do what Donnie Don't does. I don't know why that came in. I think it was the dare. I said dare, but now it looks like Viper going to be pushing in towards Chris's mills. And once again, oh, you can see the damage coming out. Huge amounts of damage now. Look at all the farms as they try and stay alive. Unfortunately, it looks like all of them going to be going down. There she goes, ladies and gentlemen. All those farms going down. One more volley and it's going to actually take them out. There we go. So 8 farms going down. Viper is really the farm killer at this point. Manages to save the mangonels. Not a single bit of damage comes out onto them. Chris now going to be in a bit of a difficult spot as he tries to get in there with the Springalds and just gets repelled back by the units. Unfortunately for Chris, not a lot of units out here. Villagers now going to get pulled at the same time. A bit of an attack on the back line. Longbow's doing a great job of just picking off the villagers. 1 villager, 2 villagers. It looks like they're just the 2 villagers that are going to go down here. Almost a 3rd villager. Viper now hits the 2nd golden age tier. And just a few men-at-arms going to be coming out here to meet these longbows. And these guys are going to clean it up completely. Only 1 damage a pop comes out from those bad boys. But beautiful job right now from Viper. He's just looking all over his opponent. That 3rd town center now going to be going down. I don't think we see a 4th down center. Probably going to be opting towards some more siege himself, and indeed he does, going for those Springalds over towards the fight on the eastern front. But now it looks like we've got a Lancer going to be coming out as well for Viper. He's just looking all over his English opponent at this point in time. Chris having a difficult time keeping up with the GOAT, and that 3rd town center really just going to start booming for Viper. Now he knows that his enemy is on the King's Palace. Well, rather, there's the King's Palace. So he needs to try and get his economy rolling a bit higher than his opponent. Now, he manages to lose a Springald, so Viper going to be on the downhill here. Takes out both of the Springalds from his opponent. Viper trying his best to get in and do a bit of damage on those Springalds, but unfortunately, the villager going to be healing it up. Villager does go down. So if we check in with Chris, we can see he's lost all of his units on the left side of the map or the west side of the map. Now going to be turning his attention wholly towards this east side of the map. He's got units behind his base. Now just keep in mind, just a handful of horsemen out here. Absolutely shredding all of this. So it's curious to see that we don't have it. Obviously, food going to be a bit difficult for Chris at the moment. He does have horticulture in, he does have wheelbarrow in, so his food economy is going to be doing not terribly, I would say. But at the same time, you know, ideally he wants to be having a few more villagers on food at this point. And he has lost a lot of farms. I think in total he lost, how many did he lose up here? I think we saw 6 go down up in this position. Mangonel going to be going down now for Viper. Viper does turn around and looks to try and put on a bit of damage before he dies. He knows he lost it. And all of these Springalds managed to survive. Going to be turning their attention towards that men-at-arms. And the town center going to be taking it down. But yeah, we saw, I think, 6 farms go down here. And then 8 farms go down over towards this. So already losing 16. Now, obviously, they're not the most expensive farms. But obviously, you know, you'd prefer to lose none. Viper looking incredibly strong. A bit of a stock take reveals he's got 62 villagers at the moment compared to his opponent who sits on 54. So very, very close when it comes to their economies. The main issue is going to be when they start, sitting idle for a few minutes. So I'm talking, 6 or 7 minutes. Viper's going to be significantly ahead of his opponent. So Viper going to be obviously sitting on 3 town centers for quite some time, whereas his opponent only on 2 town centers. But now more men-at-arms coming in, trickling in. Viper not really paying attention, and we hear those bells dinging and donging off. The more bells you got, the more balls you got. That's what they... Sorry. Yes. Chris doing a pretty decent job of defending and cleaning that up. I want to do a quick score check. Score's very even at the moment. So Viper obviously had a big lead in the early game. Has managed to lose it primarily due to the Springalds that came out. They did a great job, but now we continue to see this harassment underneath the town center of the King's Palace. Chris going to have to be trying to focus this down. You see his villagers entering inside of the town center. But keep in mind, these guys, they only take 1 damage a pop. It's going to take some time before they actually do die. Spear's now going to be coming out as well, looking to support this. And indeed, the men-at-arms go down. I'd love to see some walls coming up from Chris. Just against Viper's playstyle, it makes a lot of sense. And now Viper, definitely sort of on the back foot. Going to be focusing on spending more time with his economy, less time with his enemy. 3 town centers up at this point. At least that's all I can count. But beautiful macro coming out from him. We'll have a look at the town centers. You can see each one of them just got plenty of villagers in the queue right now. These are very cheap villagers. Preservation of knowledge has come in. All of his technology is going to be much cheaper to research. Lumber preservation, you can see the costs being reduced down. But we'll quickly check and see what type of infrastructure he's got here. 4-3-4 at the moment. 4 stables, 3 archery ranges, 4 barracks. And plenty of infrastructure there. When it comes to his military up towards the north, a little bit of a raid going to be looking to come in. Still out in the map. You can see him moving around in all these different areas. And just a bit of a forward keep going to be coming down here. Now, Chris actually misses this. Doesn't manage to spot it. And you can see the outpost has gone up. And look at that. It's so damn close to spotting that out. You very easily could have got these 4 horsemen over towards this position and denied this keep completely, but instead doesn't look to do that. Now on the front line, it looks like Chris going to be defending against these crossbows and archer combos that we do know, that we do love. A very strong and potent combo. Insulated helm now coming in, looking to get that +2 melee defense. Going to be taking out a couple of villagers here as well. If he's not careful, Chris going to be losing a few more. Spears coming out to meet him. And Viper now looking to do a bit of a raid back towards the top side of the base for Chris. And managing to get in. We can see plenty of villagers going down on this gold mine. It looks like we've seen at least 4 going down. 5th one may potentially go down here if he's not careful. Viper really getting in there, doing a lot of damage. At the same time, it looks like Chris going to be going for a raid, but only using horsemen. It means he's not going to be doing a lot of damage. You guys know I love to joke about horsemen raiding. It's just, it's a non-existent thing. It's kind of like delicious dirt. You just don't get it. I mean, you can put as much sugar as you want on top of dirt, but you're never going to make it taste delicious. And it's the exact same with horsemen. You can try and bring as many horsemen to the raid as you want, but you're never going to turn it into a real raid. It's never going to be a real raid. But as soon as you add a knight in, that's when things get serious. Viper continuing just to control his enemy around the back and making him feel ever pinched. You can see that Chris right now just feels absolutely wasted. He's sitting in this corner. He would definitely feel behind. You can see Viper actually pulling ahead in the score significantly right now. If we take a look at the income per minute, you can see that Viper quite ahead in the other 2 resources, whereas when it comes to food, Chris ahead, obviously playing the English, but now Viper going to be looking to try and do a bit of damage. Horseman going to be running in right on top of these Springalds. Lancers just on the front line, tearing apart his enemy. At the moment, Chris sitting on 24 military population, only 30 or 35 for Viper. But he's got a huge economy behind this, and you can see that he's just adding in more and more. Now going to be dropping down the battering ram as well and trying to look to finish off his opponent. Chris going to be trying his best to hold on at this point, but it's feeling very tough for him. I know a lot of you guys might be watching this and wondering what the heck is going on, but it definitely feels like Chris had fallen behind significantly in the last few minutes of the game. A little bit preemptive of a tap out. I'll be honest with you guys. I didn't expect it to happen where it did. But there you guys go. Viper once again proving he is the GOAT. Now make sure you guys check out N4C. I'll leave a link in the description. You can catch some live games because we're probably live right now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.